Hello and welcome to another Board Crazy review. I am D, and today I am reviewing the adventure games The Dungeon with these two.
I'm Graham.
And I am Will.
Yes.
A.k.a. the MVP of The Dungeon.
Indeed. So, as of today, the first chapter playthrough is on our channel here. You can go check that out if you want to. Keep in mind there may be some spoilers for this. It is a narrative game.
Yep.
And we're reviewing this after we've already completed
We have finished this game, yes. Yeah. Only the first chapter is up on our channel so far, but we have finished this game, so it will be our complete thoughts on the entire experience. The second and third chapters will be coming out sometime in the future.
Yeah.
Before we get started, though, we're going to run my introduction to how the game works so that you have an idea of how that goes. So here that goes. Adventure Games The Dungeon is a game for 1 to 4 players, designed by Phil Walker Harding and Matthew Dunstan, and published by Cosmos. This is a cooperative narrative adventure game where players must work together, exploring and solving puzzles in order to escape the dungeon that they're mysteriously trapped in. Adventure games are similar in some ways to the Exit series of games, also published by Cosmos, in that players are using the game's art and items they collect in order to solve puzzles. However, unlike the Exit games, these games are replayable with no components being destroyed and different endings being possible. To start a game, each player selects a character and takes their card and corresponding figure. Also, the 12 health cards are distributed evenly between the players and kept colored side up. Players take turns in clockwise order. On a player's turn, they may move to a new location and then take one action. When moving, a player may place their figure next to any location on any room that's been revealed so far. For the following action, there are a few options. Players may simply explore the location they've just moved to by reading its number's entry in the adventure book. Alternatively, they can combine 2 adventure cards together, or combine an adventure card with a location. When doing so, the lower number is placed in front of the larger number, and the player then checks the adventure book to see if the combination they've made has a corresponding entry. Players can both lose and gain health points throughout the game by taking certain actions, however you can never die permanently. You can also save at any time. This particular game has 3 chapters, which are meant to be played in about 90 minutes. Once you've completed all 3 chapters, you can then check the rulebook to get your score based on your performance. Okay, boys.
Yeah.
So, Adventure Games, The Dungeon, a new series by Cosmos, these adventure games are. I think obviously the initial comparison you would want to make is to the Exit games.
You kind of have to. It's like the same exact box size.
The rule books are the same. It's a very
similar idea,
similar product. In terms of how they actually play, though, pretty different. This is way more akin, in our experience on the channel, to Legacy of Dragonholt, I would say, and more even so than that, point-and-click adventure, like PC games.
Right.
Yeah.
It's way more like that. Yes, I mean, there's no time limit.
Right.
And this, unlike the Exit games, there's you can't lose necessarily. There's different endings, but of various, goodness. But it is what it is, and it's also it's replayable. You can go back and play it again. You're not
cutting it up.
Yeah, you're not destroying it,
bending it.
You're not. There's no one best way to finish it. This is a game that you can go back and make different choices, see different endings. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that is maybe one of its greatest strengths. The ability to replay it and resell it even.
Right.
Resell it, yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. Because you can't do that with the Exit games.
Yeah.
I think all throughout the playthrough it was always, oh man, I constantly wanted to see what would have happened if I made the other decision, which is obviously any kind of decision game like this, but it makes you want to, because now I want to go back and try some different options that I know, I feel like were critical moments in our playthrough of it. I'm like, I got to see what happens now.
Either we messed it up.
Yeah, messed it up, or just even it's just interesting to see how it would have played out differently.
Yeah, a good example of that is you. I think over the course of the 3 sessions, we ran into 4 different prisoners, and I only think we could probably let out,
or 5.
Was it 5?
Yeah,
I think we can only let out 2 or 3 of them. I don't think you can actually let all of them out.
Yeah.
So that's that in and of itself is like, oh, well, maybe we would have had a whole different experience if we had let out that person as compared to this person.
Yeah, opening and closing different doors narratively.
Yes.
Yeah, and also, I mean, there are points out that game where you're making choices like, okay, which character is going to do this?
Right.
And depending on which character does something, a different result will happen. You'll maybe get a different item, or you'll...
Yeah.
You almost have to have strategy in your decisions. You're not just going through and, I'll make, decision A here and decision and thinking it's not going to have any effect. No, you should really think about what your characters do because they come with different traits. Someone I think I had the knowledgeable and you had...
I was strong.
You were the strong. So they're going to have different outcomes based on that. And so you can use that to your advantage in the game, which is interesting.
I think it's just what everyone loves about adventure games or choose your own adventure is that the sense of discovery.
It does.
It is genuinely
scratch that itch, I think.
Really fun. I was having a ton of fun. Every time you're like draw adventure card, 60 or flip, tile location tile, like it's just I can't
obviously
wait
if you were to go back and replay it, you're not going to have the same experience the entire way through because you already will know the outcomes of many things and what different cards provide and what have you. But at the same time, I feel like similar to like replaying a video game, it's going to be a much smoother, much quicker experience because you can skip through a lot of the stuff that you to like think about the first time. So it's going to be it won't be.
It'll lose some of that charm though the first session.
It will lose some charm, but it's not going to cost you as much time.
No, but I think that's an inherent flaw in the game. While it is replayable, how do you keep yourself? Well, you can't keep yourself from like in essence metagaming the second time you play it. You'd be like, oh, I know exactly how to get through this quick little puzzle to get this item.
That's true of any sort of narrative game like this. Like, I don't think it's a flaw. I think it's just it's
I know, but
an aspect of those games.
It is. Maybe flaw is not the right word, but it does, I think, in my mind, limit replayability a little bit because there are going to be some scenarios where you do exactly the same because you have to, and it loses the excitement of not knowing what's coming next. You know exactly what's coming next.
But that exists. I'm kind of with D on that. That exists in almost any game video game or adventure game like this. It's going to happen where you're going to know the outcome of some things.
That's true.
Like there's plenty of video games I love replaying, and I know the outcome of a lot of it, but doesn't mean things can't change a little bit.
Yeah, if you enjoy the ride, I feel like it's just better being able to skip some of the more the tedium.
Yeah, well, this game didn't have a lot of tedium.
No, it doesn't, but it's a lot of reading. It is time consuming. I would say the writing and the narrative of this game they're not like incredible or anything. No. They're fine, but they're good enough that I wouldn't be opposed to going back and seeing the different routes, the different endings that you can get.
Yeah, and with something like this where this is one of the first of the adventure game series, they're probably going to keep it a little bit lighter in story and stuff, and I'd be even interested in going... I would want them to make something more complicated, more in depth, that takes more time, and I'm okay with spending time.
The exit games come in different difficulties. I don't see why they couldn't do something like that with this.
So this is obviously when you're coming out, they're going to kind of stick to something basic and simple. Exactly, the story's nothing incredible, but it's. I think they have options there to make a more. Involved and interesting storyline.
True.
Yeah, it was a strong start in regards to the narrative. It reminded me a lot, we were playing through it, I'm like, this reminds me of like a very well thought out of like opening quest for like level 1 or 2 like D&D players,
Sure.
You're just doing a dungeon crawl and you're trying to save your friend and there's some twists and turns and some bad guys along the way and some cool NPCs. And I really liked that, and I think that, you're right, because this was an early game, they probably played it safe in that regard, but that doesn't keep it at all from being interesting or fun.
Another thing I think is key for its replayability is that it's extremely easy to set back up. With everything being lettered and numbered sort of as, on the backs, I was able to clean this up after we finished in like maybe 10 minutes, just getting all the cards back in order. And that's all it really takes. Once you're there, you can just get right back into it if you wanted to.
The design of it is very intuitive. Yeah. It's almost... You almost don't even need the rule book.
No, the rule book is really just there for like the first time, and then once you know it,
it's like I said,
the reference card has most everything you need. Yeah. It just has like you can figure out your score in there.
Yeah. But no, the design was almost exactly what it needed to be. It was very well done.
It was really good. I also appreciate that the writers took the time to think of like what will not idiots do, but like what will people like try to get away with. Because how many times do we go back to that grate and reach in with different items?
Like,
oh, we got a broomstick. Reach through that, and they're like, no, you fool! You can't pick up something with just poking it with a broomstick through a grate. And it's like, oh, I got a hook. Well, your arm doesn't reach. You know, it's like there's like so many times.
I guess it was well designed.
So that's kind of the thing with this game. I feel like you say it's not as hard as like an Exit game, and it's not in terms of like the puzzle solving. Although I feel like we probably did worse at this in terms of our final score than we have in our experiences with the Exit game. It's a different kind of challenge, and this is more about like thoughtfulness and you kind of said strategy a little bit, where you have to. You don't want to explore every possible avenue. You don't want to rush headlong into something necessarily. You got to think, okay, what are the possible repercussions here if I were to, keep digging, for example, in these mines? Well, oh gosh, maybe something bad will happen if I go too deep. Yeah.
The only thing I in that kind of, and those are, I see what you're saying. Those repercussions are what are going to kind of keep you from doing stuff. But the only thing I would say about this game, it seemed like we'd often got to a point where we're like, there's really kind of nothing left to do, or there's not, like, we have to just play out the turns until the next person goes. It's like, I almost wish there was a little bit, not a time limit, but almost a turn limit, and when you can, that kind of keeps you have to be careful about the decisions you're making and be a little bit more efficient in your decisions you're making.
There were a couple occasions where it felt like we just skipped to the person who had the thing that we needed to do the thing.
Like, I get how the point system and how, hurting yourself, like, if you're like, oh, should I reach into this, hole in the wall and see if I can find something, and, lo and behold, you get bit by a snake or a spider or something, and it hurts you, and that hurts your point total. But really, I don't think that's enough of a deterrence to keep people from doing that stuff.
Yeah.
I would say more like a turn limit or something that would keep people from doing that stuff.
True, that's a good point. Yeah, because you can't die. There's no incentive to not try everything you can.
Yeah, exactly.
That bothered me.
Unless you're absolutely certain that it's going to end in bad.
Right.
Yeah.
If you play it with certain kinds of people too who don't take stuff like this seriously, they're just going to be sticking hands in holes and pulling levers and stuff.
Who? Name one person we know who would do such a thing.
But it was our first time playing through. In the future, I won't be as reckless.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, I said at the beginning this game is not all that similar to the Exit games. I believe that, but I'm going to compare it to the Exit games now anyway, because it is still an obvious point of comparison. I feel like because the puzzles are simplified here, and there is no time limit, I feel like what it really lacks is like the excitement that you can get with an Exit game. Yeah. Those games can give you like a legitimate like endorphin rush and like make you like
when you solve a puzzle, you
exclaim something. Yeah, when you actually, when you finally solve a challenging puzzle, there's a real satisfaction that comes with doing well in those games that you can't really get here. With these games, a lot of times doing well is just knowing when to stop, but you don't necessarily know that you've made the right choice because you're just not exploring that option. You might do well and not even realize it because you got lucky. In this game, a lot of the times it's okay. You just keep pushing and pushing and pushing until it bites. Right. And in this game, that's less satisfying. Yeah. In this game, when you're doing poorly. You don't know necessarily when you're doing well.
And I feel the same way. And that's throughout even the gameplay. I was like, I noticed that comparison, but I think that is more of just a preference thing.
Absolutely, is a preference.
It's not a flaw in this game itself. It's how the game is.
Yeah, some people will absolutely prefer this style.
So I agree with you. I like the Exit games more, but that I don't think it takes away from.
No, not at all. But I think, like we kind of mentioned earlier, I think a more challenging experience maybe where you can get similar experiences to that would be welcome in a game like this.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree with both of you, but I also was going to say I completely agree with the whole preference thing because. I still enjoyed I guess you could say the less adrenaline rush. I kind of liked how relaxed this was.
It's a way more subdued experience.
I'm just enjoying this. I'm playing this with my friends. We're going through a dungeon.
Yeah, it's not stressful.
And it does. And every once in a while, I did get that level of satisfaction when it was like we figured out how to combine certain items to make a new item that allowed us to get to a different room.
I don't feel like it was at all on the same level. At least not for me. Like what we can get in the Exit games. But yeah. Also, I think that this, given my experience with the things that it's similar to, I would imagine this plays great as a solo game, where you are responsible for all of the decision making, and you can play it as quickly or as slowly as you want, and explore at your own leisure and read to yourself. So you can kind of skip the stuff you don't want to focus on. You can just kind of see what the results are. I imagine that'd be great. Kind of like Dragonhold, I kind of prefer it as a solo game, and as a point-and-click video game would be, it's all up to you.
I honestly think I might find the game more replayable if I was just playing it by myself.
Oh, it's absolutely
because
more
then you would have
replayable
four distinct sections where you're playing as each character. Because you're right, there are a number of times where, depending on who you're playing as, determines what part of the story you get to see. So
and just not having to read aloud saves you, I imagine, so much time, because this game is like 60% reading probably.
Yeah. Yep.
Anything else with the gameplay you guys want to talk about?
Nope. No.
All right. Components are what you would expect probably from a Cosmos game of this type at this point. They're similar to the Exit games. They're not great, but they're good enough for what you need. The art on the like the rooms and what have you, and the cards, it's clear enough you can solve puzzles without any real.
I thought the
issue.
art on the tiles for like the rooms was very good.
Yeah.
But you're right, the cards and the other things, it's maybe a little more basic. It's standard, but it's definitely better than passable. Yeah, but I thought the art on the rooms, I was like, wow, this is really good.
You can read the description, but you almost don't even need the descriptions. It's pretty clear what everything is just from the art alone. But yeah. All right, time for our final thoughts. We'll give this our scores. I'm a bit of a sucker for games like this, sort of like narrative adventure games, so I'm not surprised that I enjoyed it. Like the two of you, I probably would take a really good Exit game over this particular one at least, but who knows? I think there's a lot of promise for this. I'm gonna definitely keep my eye on this series in the future. Wouldn't necessarily recommend it to fans of the Exit games just on that alone, but for fans of, again, like traditional adventure games, this is definitely something you might want to check out. I'm going to give it 4 stars out of 5.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we should mention this every few reviews. We have different review scales.
Yeah, we do.
So Dee does stars, Graham does thumbs, I do letter grades.
Yeah.
We've explained before the reason that we do this is that we don't necessarily love scoring in reviews, but we do think it provides a somewhat succinct summarization of our feelings. So we include it, but it is a little kind of silly because we're fun,
I would give scores and reviews 4.5 stars out of 5.
Fun guys? The game is obviously, like I said, well designed, very intuitive. There's a lot of promise for this series. This specific game, story itself maybe wasn't the most exciting, but it was good enough to get me back playing more of these. So I'll give it a 1 thumb up.
Okay, I like this game. Yeah. I think I've explained how it reminds me of D&D. I love cooperative games. I think if you're looking for something that's breezy and pretty riveting at times and just overall entertaining to play with, a small group of friends or even by yourself, you can't really go wrong, I think, with this one. We haven't played the other one, but Adventure Games, The Dungeon, I'm going to give it a B+. And that's not relative to board gaming on the whole. That's relative more to games in this spectrum, and then just overall enjoyment level that I got out of it. Yeah. I think it's pretty good.
All right, so we all enjoyed Adventure Games, The Dungeon.
Yes.
And we will probably be returning to this if you want us to. If you guys are like, no, never ever play one of these again, we'll be like, okay, fine.
Yeah, someone's real passionate about it.
We'll do it in private, I guess. But yeah, that's our review. Thank you for watching. If you're still watching, give us a like, the thumbs up there. You can subscribe to the channel. You can also comment any thoughts you have on this game, or our thoughts on this game, or recommendations. If you think the other one is worth picking up, we'd love to hear it.
Should we do a review of our review?
Let's do a review of our review.
You guys hungry?
You are.
No, I'm
pretty
good.
hungry. Guys?
I think there's a stale bread card in there if you want to nibble on that.
And cheese.
And coconuts.
And ham.
Yeah. There's a lot of food in there.
That's right, we found those coconuts. What do those coconuts do, designers? What are they for?
I guess we'll find out in the future if we play again.
Oh, that's true.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Until next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya next time.